Stop. Please do not jump from this bridge. Those 8 words changed everything for Dorian Hayes that rainy October night. The 30-year-old construction worker had been walking home from his third job, carrying his sleeping 3-year-old daughter Loan, when he spotted the young woman standing on the wrong side of the bridge railing. The rain soaked through his worn jacket as he approached carefully. His daughter stirred in his arms, her small hand clutching the red blanket that had been her comfort since her mother left 6 months ago. Dorian knew desperation when he saw it. He had felt it himself many times. "Hey there," he called softly, not wanting to startle her. "Bad night for a walk, is it not?" The young woman turned, and Dorian could see she was maybe 19, with long hair plastered to her face by the rain. Her expensive clothes told a different story than his own patched jeans and steel-toed boots. "Please, just leave me alone," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the rain. "I cannot do that," Dorian replied gently, shifting Aloan to one arm and extending his free hand. "I am Dorian, and this is my daughter Aloan. What is your name?" "Celine," she said after a moment, her eyes fixed on the dark water below. Celine Armitage. Dorian did not recognize the name, but something in her voice reminded him of his own darkest moments. "Celine, I know we do not know each other, but whatever brought you here tonight, it does not have to end this way. You do not understand," she sobbed. "I have ruined everything. My father, he trusted me with the family business accounts, and I made terrible investments. I lost millions. He will never forgive me." Aloan began to wake, blinking sleepy eyes at the rain. "Daddy," she whispered, "the lady is sad." Even at 3, his daughter had an instinct for reading people that amazed Dorian. "Yes, baby, she is sad. Can you help Daddy make her feel better?" Aloan looked at Celine with the pure compassion only a child possesses. "Do not be sad, pretty lady. My daddy says rain makes flowers grow tomorrow." Those innocent words seemed to crack something in Celine's composure. She looked at the small family, seeing something she had forgotten existed. Genuine human connection without judgment. "Your daddy sounds wise," Celine managed, her grip on the railing loosening slightly. Dorian took a careful step closer. "Celine, mistakes with money can be fixed. Trust me, I know about financial problems, but a life cannot be replaced. Your father would rather have his daughter than any amount of money." "You do not know my father," she said bitterly. "Maybe not, but I know what it feels like to disappoint the people we love. 6 months ago, I thought I was a failure too. Lost my main job. My wife left, and I had to take 3 part-time jobs just to keep food on the table for Aloan." Celine looked surprised. "But you seem so together." Dorian laughed softly. "Together? I am barely holding on most days. But this little girl depends on me, and that gives me a reason to keep trying. Maybe your father needs you more than you realize." The rain continued to fall as they talked, and slowly, Celine began to share more of her story. She had graduated early from business school, eager to prove herself to her father, Magnus Armitage. When he gave her access to investment accounts, she thought she could multiply their wealth quickly. Instead, her inexperience led to devastating losses. "I thought I was so smart," she whispered. "I wanted to make him proud." "And I bet he was already proud," Dorian said. "Parents do not give their children important responsibilities unless they believe in them." Aloan had fallen back asleep in his arms, but her presence seemed to calm Celine. Finally, after what felt like hours but was probably only 20 minutes, Celine accepted Dorian's outstretched hand and climbed back over the railing. They sat together on a nearby bench under a street lamp, all 3 of them soaked but safe. Celine called her father, and Dorian could hear the relief and love in Magnus Armitage's voice even from where he sat. "I am sending Cashin to pick you up immediately," Magnus said. "And Celine, the money does not matter. You matter." When Cashin Ward, the family's trusted friend and former EMT, arrived in a luxury sedan, he was surprised to find Celine sitting with a working-class father and his toddler. But as Celine explained what happened, Cashin's experienced eyes saw the truth. This man had saved a life tonight. Magnus Armitage arrived shortly after, a distinguished man in his early 50s who embraced his daughter with tears in his eyes. When he turned to thank Dorian, He was struck by the dignity and kindness he saw in the younger man's tired face. "You gave me back my daughter," Magnus said simply. "How can I ever repay you?" Dorian shifted a low and gently. "Just love her, sir. That is all any father can do." But Magnus Armitage was not a man to leave debts unpaid. Over the following weeks, he learned more about Dorian's situation and quietly arranged for opportunities: a steady job with his construction company, health insurance for a loan, and a scholarship fund for her future education. When Dorian protested that it was too much, Magnus smiled. "A man who saves my daughter's life while carrying his own child to reign deserves every good thing this world can offer." Years later, Celine would often visit Dorian in Alohan, having learned that wealth meant nothing without human connection. She had returned to school, studied counseling, and now helped others facing financial and emotional crises. On rainy nights, Dorian would sometimes tell Alohan about the night on the bridge, when a simple act of kindness created a family they never expected. He would remind her that sometimes the most important thing you can offer someone is simply refusing to let them face their darkest moment alone. The bridge still stands, connecting more than just two sides of the river. It connects lives, hearts, and the understanding that in our darkest hours, we are never truly alone if someone cares enough to reach out their hand.